Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me today for this presentation. I'm Faria Chughtai, the Chief Information Officer at Rocket Insurance, and I'm here to talk to you about cloud computing and potentially incorporating it within our business model. Just to briefly walk you through what I will be talking about in this presentation, I will first introduce cloud computing to you, talking about the costs and benefits of cloud computing, and will also present a financial analysis with a feasibility and sensitivity analysis to go over various scenarios that could affect the implementation of the cloud within our organization. Now, the main purpose of this presentation is to show you and convince you that cloud computing is the right way to go for Rocket Insurance. I will do this by going over what cloud computing is, how it can benefit Rocket Insurance, what is the right deployment method and service model, how have other companies benefited from this, what are the associated risks, can these risks be mitigated. These questions will be answered partly through the research that is already available on the internet on this topic, and also through a detailed financial analysis on the actual costs and benefits of cloud computing for our company. Let's start off first by going over what cloud computing actually is. The National Institute of Standards and Technology defines cloud computing as a model for enabling convenient, on-demand network access to a shared pool of configurable computing resources that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provider interaction. The 5 key characteristics of cloud computing are on-demand self-service, ubiquitous network access, resource pooling, rapid elasticity, and measured service. On-demand self-service means that a consumer can provision computing capabilities as needed automatically without requiring any interaction with a service provider. Ubiquitous network access means that cloud services are accessed via the network using standard mechanisms and protocols. Resource pooling means that computing resources used to provide the cloud service are realized using a homogeneous infrastructure that's shared between all service users. Rapid elasticity means that resources can be scaled up and down rapidly as required. Measured service, finally, means that cloud systems automatically control and optimize resource use by leveraging a metering capability appropriate to the type of service. The 3 main service models in cloud computing are called software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. In the software as a service model, the capability provided to the consumer is to use the provider's applications running on a cloud infrastructure. In platform as a service, the capability provided to the consumer is to deploy on the cloud infrastructure applications using programming languages, libraries, services, and tools supported by the provider. In the infrastructure as a service model, the capability provided to the consumer is to provision processing, storage, networks, and other fundamental computing resources where the consumer is able to deploy and run arbitrary software, which can include operating systems and applications. One of 4 different deployment methods can be adopted for cloud computing. These include public cloud, private cloud, community cloud, or hybrid cloud. In a public cloud, the cloud infrastructure is provisioned for open use by the general public and exists on the premises of the cloud provider. In a private cloud, the cloud infrastructure is provisioned for exclusive use by a single organization, and systems and services are delivered and managed in shared services mode. A community cloud is one where systems and services are controlled and used by a group of entities that have a shared interest or common mission. Finally, the hybrid cloud is a composition of 2 or more distinct cloud infrastructures in which critical or core activities are done using the private cloud and the rest is done on the public cloud. There are many benefits of cloud computing, most important being cost containment. The cloud brings scalability without requiring financial commitments of infrastructure purchase and maintenance. Immediacy is another advantage which allows companies to provision and utilize services. Availability means that business requirements for high-speed access, storage, or applications can be accommodated easily and quickly. Scalability allows increased flexibility and greater efficiency is achieved because reallocating activities to the cloud frees other resources to focus efforts on innovation and research and development. Resiliency is also achieved because cloud providers have mirrored solutions that can be utilized in a disaster scenario as well as for off-balancing traffic. However, at the same time, there are certain vulnerabilities that cloud computing exposes companies to. The cloud characteristic of on-demand self-service requires a management interface that's accessible to cloud service users, and hence unauthorized access to the interface emerges as a vulnerability. Ubiquitous network access means that cloud services are accessed via network, which is in the internet in most cases, and hence that causes some security concerns. Resource pooling and rapid elasticity mean that resources allocated to one user will be reallocated to another user at some later point in time, and hence it might be possible to recover data written by a previous user, exposing companies to data recovery vulnerability. Finally, measured service means that any cloud service has a metering capability, and metering data is used to optimize service delivery as well as billing, which can expose companies to metering and billing data manipulation as well as billing evasion. Before we go into the financials, I want to quickly just share some case studies with you from how cloud computing has actually benefited other companies, especially from within the insurance industry. According to a 2010 Accenture report, key drivers of cloud computing in insurance companies include the ability to reduce total cost of IT ownership and operation, unify consumer data, enabling consumer centricity, drive new business and engage customers more effectively through new distribution models, handle peaks in demand more easily and at a lower cost, reduce speed to market and drive new business opportunities, force a move to a service-oriented model and new innovation in systems design, better manage intermediary relationships, maximize renewals by customers, and support integration of third-party systems and agency management systems. This is why cloud computing is readily being deployed by insurance companies across the globe. The same Accenture report cites a survey of 53 North American hardware decision makers from the insurance industry, of which 45% revealed that they plan to implement cloud computing in their organization in a year or more, and 51% revealed that they plan to implement it within the next 12 months. This shows the general direction that the industry is taking with regards to cloud computing. Other companies have also adopted cloud computing and have significantly benefited. Cisco Systems cites the cases of two insurance companies, Princeton Insurance and Seven Corners, that implemented cloud computing and were able to achieve accelerated data provisioning, reduced data storage by up to 60%, 96% faster report running, quicker ROI achievement, reduced downtime, and higher growth. Given our company's business model and the sensitivity of information that we deal with, the ideal cloud deployment model would be a private cloud. Private clouds would offer greater control and flexibility to our company, whereby we would be able to make decisions independent of the cloud service provider about shifting workload among servers depending on the degree of usage. Private clouds are also more reliable and secure and offer more predictable service, which is extremely important for our company. Other benefits associated with private clouds are cost reduction, enhanced service quality, and greater speed to deliver on consumer demands. Since hosting private clouds requires specific IT skills, it is recommended that Rocket Insurance use the software as a service model, according to which the company would, instead of investing in license purchases, pay a fee according to use. As part of this presentation, a detailed financial analysis has also been conducted using common capital budgeting tools like net present value, payback period, profitability index, and internal rate of return. This has been done keeping in mind the potential costs and benefits of cloud computing for Rocket Insurance to evaluate the feasibility of this project. Net present value is a common method used in capital budgeting to analyze the profitability of a project, and for this specific project, the NPV comes out to be 33.53 million, which, being a high positive value, indicates that this project is definitely attractive. Payback period is also calculated, which is another method to evaluate the project's feasibility, and the payback period for this project comes out to be 3.39 years, indicating that we will be able to cover the cost of investing in cloud computing in a little over 3 years, after which all cash flows associated with this investment will be positive. The project also has a high profitability index of 2.97, and as a general rule, if the profitability index is greater than 1, then the project is profitable and should be proceeded with. The internal rate of return is also high at 46%, and given that it can be taken as an indicator of the rate of growth that the project can be expected to generate, this is a steady investment that can prove to be highly lucrative for Rocket Insurance. As you can see here, a sensitivity analysis has also been conducted that highlights different scenarios that can potentially affect the costs associated with the project due to any unforeseen circumstances. The first realistic scenario is that productivity, which is expected to increase by 40% in line with the experiences of other companies, actually only increases by 10% for our company. Even in this situation, the NPV remains positive at $19.15 million and the profitability index is still over 2. IRR, however, falls down to 33% and the payback period increases to 4.7 years. But these numbers still match industry averages. Scenario 2 involves power disruptions that actually increase downtime by 20% annually. In this situation, NPV falls further below to $12.1 million and the payback period further increases to 5.81 years. IRR comes down to 23% and the profitability index falls below 1.6. However, the likelihood of this happening is still low, and even if it does, which is the worst case scenario, our company would still be investing in a profitable project, although the payback period might be a bit longer. Finally, the third scenario is the best case scenario, whereby through successful training of our staff, we would actually be able to reduce labor costs by 50% in year 2. In this case, the NPV increases to $36.6 million and the payback period falls drastically to 3.61 years. Profitability index in this situation is high at 3.15 with an IRR of 50%. The numbers shown in the previous slides are definitely promising and do suggest that we should go ahead and implement cloud computing within our company for us to achieve a competitive advantage in the industry. As a quick recap of everything we've talked about and to conclude this presentation, I want to highlight that cloud computing is an extremely lucrative option for our company. It is allowing more and more companies to become scalable without having to tie up funds in infrastructure purchase and maintenance, and is providing companies with more immediate data access and greater resiliency and efficiency. The only thing that our company needs to pay attention to is when it comes to choosing the service provider so that we can mitigate any risks associated with cloud computing. Obviously, we would want a company with a reputation and history of sustainability so that quality is not compromised. Private cloud computing would be the right choice for Rocket Insurance for greater flexibility and data security and to mitigate any risks associated with public cloud. Given the experience of other companies, cloud computing is definitely the right way to go for Rocket Insurance. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to your feedback on this.